Greetings, dear friends! My name is Arkady Zenin and I'm the founder of PremiumHIFI. Thanks to the arrival of the AIYIMA A-Seventy, you no longer need to buy expensive, branded Class A/B amplifiers for 1000 euros to get good hi-fi sound. You can spend 5 times to 7 times less money and get sound comparable to that of famous brands. Don't believe it? Come to our PremiumHIFI studio in Riga and you can listen and compare for yourself. We provide sound solutions for any space. The stated maximum power, as always, is exaggerated, 2 by 300 watts at an 8 ohm load. Even with a 10 ohm 48 volt power supply, that's impossible. But this time the manufacturers posted a correct table of power and distortion of their website. You can check it out via the link in the description. What do you think? Can a budget amplifier really compete with expensive brands? Write your thoughts in the comments. The AIYIMA A-Seventy can be ordered with 2 power supply options, 48 volts 5 amps and 48 volts 10 amps. Here at PremiumHIFI we tested the 48 volt 5 amp option. The power supply is unique. It's made using GaN, Gallium Nitride power adapter technology, which is an innovative charger that uses gallium nitride instead of traditional silicon. This makes GaN chargers more compact and efficient. They generate less heat, increasing their reliability and lifespan. GaN chargers can provide higher power, allowing faster charging of devices such as smartphones, tablets and laptops. Their compact size makes them convenient for travel. However, compared to the compact amplifier size, the power supply can be called compact. When I first connected this amplifier, I was really ready to hear the sound of Chinese radio from the Soviet market. But no, it really surprised me and delighted my neighbors with powerful sound. The amplifier sounds quite mature despite its compact size. I'll talk about the sound a bit later. The vertical metal case has rounded corners, ventilation holes on the sides and bottom. On the front, in the center, there's a volume control, and a short press turns on the amplifier and switches between RCA and XLR input. A long press turns the device off. Below the multi-selector are dim, subtle LEDs for the selected input. It looks very attractive and elegant. The build quality is impeccable despite the modest price of $170 excluding the power supply. At the time of preparing this review, of course. On the back, there are XLR and RCA connectors for connected 1 or 2 sources. The RCA input boasts a sensitivity adjustment of plus or minus 3 dB, which is convenient when connecting a portable source with low output power. It could also be a streamer, cassette deck, reel-to-reel tape recorder, turntable with a built-in phono preamp or any other quality source. You can also connect to the XLR input using a 6.35mm jack. The presence of an XLR interface allows the amplifiers to be used not only at home, but also in a studio, for example. There's an adjustable RCA output for connected 1 active subwoofer, which is very unusual for a power amplifier and not typically found in classic branded hi-fi. Inexpensive terminals for connecting speakers. Of interest is a 12-volt trigger input, allowing your source or DAC to serve as a remote control for turning the amplifier on and off. Inside, there's an American TPA3255 amplification chip from the American company Texas Instruments, known for its innovation in the development of Class D amplifier. And if we look at the chip's datasheet, it indeed delivers more than 315 watts per channel at a 4 ohm load, provided there's a sufficient power supply. However, there's a nuance. After 100 watts of power, the chip falls into distortion exceeding 10% at 8 ohm load, red line on the graph. Hence the conclusion, even a 5 amp power supply is optimal for quality sound when connected to 8 ohm speakers. And it's better if speakers are 4 ohm, with less distortion at maximum power, black line of the graph. And then you can opt for the 10 amp power supply. You can expect about 200 to 215 watts of real power per channel used amp 48 volt power supply, but the spec states 2 by 300 watts. So, take it with caution. Calculate power based on the power supply. 48 volts multiplied by 10 amps minus 10% for amplifier energy losses, approximately 430 watts for both channels with distortions above 10%. That's roughly the arithmetic. In my opinion, even 10 to 15 watts per channel is sufficient for an apartment. Of course, sound pressure is affected by speaker sensitivity. The higher it is, the louder the sound. The AIYIMA A-Seventy uses a unique 6-layer amplifier board and a 4-layer tone board, which ensures high electrical isolation and resistance control. This design minimizes interference and distortion, enhancing signal stability and sound purity. The multi-layer architecture improves resistance to electromagnetic and radio frequency interference, contributing to superior sound quality, making it more detailed and rich. The post-filter feedback PFFB technology commonly used in Class D amplifier is applied. Its essence is that part of the output signal already passed through the LC filter is fed back to the amplifier input. This helps correct error caused by filter non-linearities. As a result, PFFB reduces distortion, improves signal-to-noise ratio, and stabilizes frequency response regarding of the load. This technology is especially valuable in high-quality audio systems where sound purity and accuracy are essential. Thanks to PFFB, Class D amplifiers demonstrate cleaner and higher quality audio, regardless of the connected speakers, making them ideal for high-end audio. Moreover, happy audiophiles can swap out operational amplifiers themselves and enjoy the bliss of sound character changes. Let's compare the AIYIMA A-Seventy with similar amplifiers. The Fosi Audio ZR3, FX Audio L07 and SMSL SR300. The price range is from $150 to $200. The AIYIMA A-Seventy and Fosi Audio ZR3 both use the TPA3255 chip but have their own features. The AIYIMA A-Seventy offers RCA and XLR inputs, a regulated subwoofer output and the ability to replace operational amplifier. This makes it a flexible and powerful choice for audiophiles and home theaters. The Fosi Audio ZR3 with a power of 2 by 150 watts at 4 ohms stereo and 240 watts at 4 ohms in mono mode also has RCA and XLR input but doesn't support subwoofer crossover frequency adjustment. The ZR3 stands out for its mono mode capability and enhancing cooling system. Both amplifiers offer similar sound quality, but the choice depends on your specific needs and preferences. The AIYIMA A-Seventy and FX Audio L07 are both powerful amplifiers, but with different characteristics. The FX Audio L07 with a power of 2 by 200 watts at 4 ohms uses the Infineon MA5332MS chip and also has balanced XLR inputs. It is distinguished by its compact design and low distortion level, but it doesn't support operational amplifier replacement or a subwoofer output. Both amplifiers sound at a similar level with some differences in nuances. However, if you need a subwoofer output and the ability to fine-tune the sound by replacing operational amplifiers, the AIYIMA A-Seventy would be preferable. The SMSL SR300 with a power of 2 by 80 watts at 4 ohms use the Infineon MA12070 chip and support Bluetooth. Additionally, it has a display and remote control. The SI300 stands out for its compact design and easy of use, but doesn't have operational amplifier replacement capability and has much lower power. If you're looking for convenience, the SMSL SR300 is more suitable. But if you need power and flexibility in settings, the AIYIMA A-Seventy is a better choice. The famous AIYIMA amp also uses a TPA3255 chip, but I'm not comparing it with the AIYIMA for now, as AIYIMA is a multi-room streamer, not an amplifier. By the way, AIYIMA also sounds great. Come to the PremiumHIFI studio to compare. I listened to the amplifier with the FX Audio DA07 DAC. The speakers are Sonus Faber Lumina 2 with a 4 ohm resistance and 86 dB sensitivity. Of course, the chosen speakers influence the sound character. The low sensitivity of the Sonus Faber Lumina 2 makes the amplifier work harder, sounding noticeably quieter than high sensitivity speakers, but still beautifully with distinct bass. The AIYIMA A-Seventy emphasizes the upper mid-range and highlights the high frequency range. This adds brightness and lightness to the sound. The amplifier easily handles sensitivity speakers, but the power reserve is also sufficient for low sensitivity speakers. The sound stage isn't very deep, but on good recording you can distinguish up to 3 or 4 apparent sound sources. This is what well-known bloggers have said about this amplifier. You can also join the discussion in the comments. My colleagues, YouTubers, well-known vinyl channels, VMIRI.net and others tested the AIYIMA A-Seventy with medium-sized floor-standing speakers Tannoy D500 with a sensitivity of 91 dB and Dayton Audio Opal 1 bookshelf speakers with low sensitivity of 87 dB. The AIYIMA A-Seventy received positive review for its ability to deliver quality sound at its price. It was noted that when combined with the AIYIMA T1 Pro amplifier, the amplifier demonstrated well-controlled and dynamic sound, adding density and richness. Despite slightly bright high frequencies, the overall sound quality is rated as good. One tester pointed out that while the AIYIMA A-Seventy fell short in power and dynamic range compared to more expensive amplifiers, it still provides adequate sound quality for most home systems. Overall, the AIYIMA A-Seventy offers excellent value for money, delivering clarity and detail at an affordable price. Links to the most informative review and test are in the description. Full measurements can be found on the Audio Science Review website. The links is in the description. Despite the modest price of the amplifier by hi-fi industry standards, I don't see the point in buying a branded amplifier for 500 or 1000 euros for speakers under 1000 euros. Even phantoms images of musicians are distinguishable during listening. Very good for a price of around 170 euros. The amplifier has enough power for both movie soundtracks and music of any genre, despite the traditional exaggeration of specs by Chinese manufacturers in the description. Branded amplifiers are much more expensive, and I let you in a secret. They don't sound better, they just look more substantial and allow you to connect more sources. Sometimes they even have a cheap DAC on board. But if you only have one source and a good DAC, then a budget Chinese amp is just right. Many music enthusiasts use inexpensive amplifiers with budget speakers. Try pairing them with higher-end speakers and you'll be surprised at how great they sound. Here are a few recommendations to further improve the already good sound quality of the amplifier. Ensure all connections are secure. Poor contacts or low-quality cables can negatively affect sound quality. Use high-quality cables for connecting your audio equipment. Connect your device to a power filter with surge protection and noise reduction. Such a filter will help eliminate interference and provide stable power, which can reduce noise levels and improve sound quality. In the PremiumHIFI studio, we have installed an affordable Audio Quest Power Quest 3. If possible, use a linear power supply instead of standard switching adapter. Linear power supplies provide cleaner and more stable voltage, which can improve sound by reducing interference and distortion. The placement of speakers and the acoustic treatment of the room can significantly affect sound perception. 90% of your system sound comes from the room and speaker placement. Make sure your speakers are positioned correctly and consider installing acoustic panels or roofs to reduce reflections and improve sound quality. The AIYIMA A-Seventy, despite its many stages, has some drawbacks. Firstly, even such compact size and weight can be an issue for users with limited space. The amplifier requires good ventilation, as it can get quite hot during extended use. This is especially important to consider when installing in closet cabinets or tight spaces. Additionally, the AIYIMA A-Seventy requires a specific power supply, and although it comes with one, for optimal performance you might need to purchase a more powerful power supply separately. This could increase the overall cost of the device. For those unfamiliar with electronics, the possibility of replacing operational amplifiers may seem complicated and confusing. This requires certain knowledge and skills, which could deter less experienced users. Despite these drawbacks, the AIYIMA A-Seventy remains a logical choice due to its features and flexibility in sound tuning. If you enjoyed this review and want more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you won't miss new release. And if you're in Riga, visit us at PremiumHIFI for listening session. That's all, dear friends, and may the force of the right sound be with you.